Hello, my lovely audience. Anyway, welcome to another video. So then, I'm gonna do this, then, I'm gonna, after this, do my magnum opus of what-ifs. AKA my 200 subscriber special. Now, that video is going to take me at least a week, because I'm gonna edit it. I'm going to add voice acting, like, not other people voice acting, just me voice acting, but like using a voice changer to add that extra bit to the voices. I shall make it my magnum opus. Yeah. But I'm only posting it when I reach 200 subs. Yeah. Anyway. Yep, let's get on with the what if now. So then, we would continue from where we left off last time, with Toya leading Izuku to, an abandoned apartment building. As she would say, I sometimes come here to, just be alone. But since you want to use it and you're my first friend, let's just start a new life here, huh? She would reach out her hand, and Deku would take it and shake it before he would get a feeling. Going off this instinct, he would pull Toya closer to him, her being very confused, until he would look her in the eyes, and she would feel pain as her eyes would begin to smoke, and she would back off while swatting at her eyes, asking, "Why did you do that?" Izuku would say, "I don't know, I just had a feeling. Toya, look, your eyes, they're just like mine." Toya, looking into, one of the windows of one of the abandoned apartments, seeing that Izuku's right, her eyes are just like his. As, damned burps. Anyway, yeah. Toya would look at him and say, "I guess we aren't so different after all." The two of them would shake hands fully, and we would do a time skip. Time skip to the start of the anime. The cult of the Frenzied Flame has weirdly enough picked up a lot of traction. No one knows why or how. Maybe it's the ideology that this world is just, we aren't living how we're supposed to, and we are just supposed to live in chaos and anarchy. Maybe they have mind control crooks. Maybe the leader's charismatic. But all they know is that the cult itself has been getting a lot of traction. Once again, like, a good portion of the people in it are like 40 years old. Going through a midlife crisis. Full on, like, exhausted with life, business people. That was a joke. But, yeah. Anyway, apparently the Eyes of Shibriri, that's what they're called. Yep. Provide some interesting benefits. For example, anyone with said eyes are basically able to track movements faster. They can see just about perfectly in pitch black darkness. And, they have damn near total fire immunity as well. The main drawback of these eyes is they are said to cause madness and mental disease in the people they infect. But since majority of the people in the cult have mental illness in the first place, it doesn't really matter that much. And while in the established cult, there are no rules, there's no precepts, there's no nothing. You can damn near kill someone else within the grounds of the cult, and it would be fine. Though there is one rule. It's less so a rule, but an obligation. If one of the higher ups gives you an order, you follow it until you die. Once again, it's less so a rule and more so obligation. You know, there's these people who were in shit times in their lives and were just uplifted by the cult out of their dark times. So, just out of sheer obligation, they do whatever the hell Izuku wants. He could be asking them to throw themselves into a literal meat grinder, and they would do it. Maybe it's the madness, maybe it's the obligation. No one knows. Anyway, yeah. Start of the anime. A certain long-nosed leader of the Quark Liberation Army, not Quark, Meta-Human Liberation Army. Quark Liberation Army sounds better in my opinion, but it's apparently Meta-Human blah blah blah. Yeah, Sinestro. I think that's what he's called. You know, buff Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Him would be meeting with a certain green-haired cult leader. He would bring a large amount of troops with him, and Izuku would only bring a few of his followers. You know, enough to fill a bar, whilst he's brought enough to fill, like, an IKEA. Not an IKEA! Oh, that's over. No, yeah, an IKEA. Oh, neat. Just flat out a small army of troops. He would walk up to him, Sinestro. He would walk up to Izuku and say, "Ah, I see someone here has misjudged the situation. No matter, we're here on business terms, correct?" Izuku would smile before shaking his hand and saying, "I, personally, from the cult, the leader of the cult of the Frenzy Flame, would like to introduce myself more formally before we get into the business." Deku would say, "My name is Izuku Midoriya, and this is my right hand, Toya Todoroki." Toya would just wave. Sinestro would look at the two of them before saying, "Kind of looks like the two of you should be in reversed positions. Give me a moment." Deku would chuckle before saying, "Now to business." He would look him cold, dead in the eyes, with these glowing, well, I was gonna say pearly whites, but they're more so horrific yellows, before saying, "You are going to join us and get swallowed by our cult, or we will personally kill every single one of your men." Sinestro would laugh at this comment, saying, "You barely have enough people to fill a bus. Nonetheless, actually challenge me." Deku would smile before saying, "Your belief is strong quirks are to be venerated, correct? But also in that belief, you think that those without quirks are nothing more but dirt. And, of course, you also believe that villainous quirks and quirks themselves are reflections of people's personalities. So people with villainous quirks are treated like villains, right?" Sinestro would say, "Well, that is a bit." Deku would finish for him. "Too upfront, too honest. You're too busy trying to hide behind a code and morality, aren't you? And I thought you of all people, would at least be willing to admit you just like killing." Sinestro would stop himself from getting angry and say, "I do myself do not personally enjoy killing. It's just the job of purifying this world from scum." Deku and everyone in his cult, in horrific unison, would burst out laughing. You can't be serious with that. You. I've met many men like you, Sinestro, and you want to know something? Sinestro would gain a questioning look on his face before Deku would continue. "All those men I've met always broke and snapped, and when they did, I saw their true colors. And their true colors were always the same: blood red." Sinestro would be the person to burst out laughing this time. Are you trying to threaten me? Cute. I have an offer for you. You apologize and surrender, and we won't wipe out your cult. Hmm? Deku would smile before saying, "All right, everybody, you heard him right. Now let's give our best canine apology. All together now." Every member that he brought with him would all inhale before a deafening howl could be heard. The air itself has turned orange, and it has begun to heat up a lot. It went from Japan to the Sahara Desert in 5 seconds. The sound of everyone howling in unison is enough to shatter glass. As the ears of one soldier would begin to bleed, and another, and just like that, Sinestro's entire army has bleeding ears. Now you're probably asking, what ability is this? It's called Shabriri's Howl. Shabriri. I am not good at saying my R's. Fuck damn my accent! But yeah, Shabriri's Howl. Its main function is that it's an area of effect attack that deals madness. How does that translate here? Well, one soldier would take their gun and fire at another, and another would do the same, as Sinestro would watch in horror as his entire troop, his entire armada, would begin killing each other in brutal fashions, whilst laughter could be heard even from the dying. those on the ground, dying with their guts ripped out, still laughing as the light would leave their eyes, a horrific smile still painted on their dead corpse. As he would look back at Deku, some black substance beginning to form on his hand, he would only be met with a knife to the eyes, cutting them out as, well, he would say, "Toya, sweetie, dear, the best right hand a man could ask for. Could you please finish him? Make it slow for me, would you?" Toya would say, "Oh, I love it when you talk like that." One of the guys in the back would gag. Like, Deku and Toya would just burst out laughing at this response. And Toya would stir-fry Sinestro like he's a roast chicken. Soon after, the Metahuman Liberation Army or League, whatever the fuck they're called, would disassemble. A lot of their higher-ups have been killed, hung, and splayed in the streets as examples. A particular crusty, dusty man watching the news would grow a sinister, sick smile. Well. Looks like they're finally making a move, said crusty, dusty man would say. "Young master, are you sure it's best to invite, the genocidal maniacs to, our quite literally only hiding place?" Shigaraki would shrug. We all know it's Shigaraki. He would shrug before saying, "What's the worst that could happen?" "We all die," Kurogiri would just say, like, upfrontly, no sugarcoating. We all could die. Slow, painful, agonizing deaths. Being burnt alive is quite literally said to be the most painful way to go. And I heard the fire coming from those psychos' eyes is about as doubly as painful as normal fire. So imagine that. Dying in the most painful way possible, times 2, and you can't even get the release of 4th degree burns, because those just don't burn anymore, they don't hurt. But with them, it can go up to 10 degrees and you can still feel it. Shigaraki would tilt his head. 10 degrees? That's not that hot. That's not that hot. Kurogiri would sigh before saying, "Degree burns. Not the temperature, the scale of how bad a burn is, young master." "Oh, that's neat information. It's like burn damage in a video game." Kurogiri would just sigh and say to himself, "We're doomed. At least let's hope he gets captured by heroes and not killed in a ritualistic sacrifice by those psychos." So that happens. We cut back to Deku and Toya, with Deku on Toya's lap, his head on her lap, just upset, as he would say, "I don't want to do paperwork anymore." Toya's just patting him on the head, saying, I know, but still, we still need to." Deku would say, "Why? We are a cult based around the entire ideology of Society out the window, organization out the window, just pain and suffering. That's all life is. So, why am I doing paperwork? Toya would just pause for a second before saying, good point. Good point. Yeah, I don't know either. Something about, UA application forms? Deku would tilt his head. Oh. 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 Yeah, those cultists who wanted to go to UA to spy. Oh, shit. I probably shouldn't have signed in crayon then. Toya would look at him before saying, you signed in crayon? He would like lift up his head, nod before saying, they were crayons made out of blood. She would stare at him for a few moments before asking, how'd you make a crayon out of blood? He would just shrug before saying, I don't know. We cut to said cultists wanting to get into UA. You know, application forms, so on and so forth. One spiky-haired blonde, one curly-haired brown, like bob-cut brown-haired girl with pink rosy cheeks, and one Birdman. The three of them would be kneeling in front of an altar when Deku would emerge from behind it and say, alright, so... Oh, hi, Kachan! Bakugo would lift up his head and just wave. Yep, he got Bakugo in the cult. He would just wave before getting professional again and kneeling again. Deku would slap himself before saying, okay. So then, your UA application forms have been sent. Hopefully they go through. I bought you all contacts so you don't, give yourselves away. They're in the, that random cardboard box we have. I didn't know what it was until I found out from Toya that it's apparently a donation box. Yeah. I put them in there. Just go get them. Goodbye. I have a date I need to be getting to with Toya, so see ya. You would just walk off stage. Like, Tokoyami's like, oh, I am so happy he graced us with his noble presence. Uraraka would just say, he is truly a visionary. Bakugo would just think to himself, that dumbass never changes. Once again, this is a cult about... Oh, shit. Oh, dang it. I'll watch that after this video. This is a cult about chaos, anarchy, and absolutely no structure whatsoever. Yeah, the people here are kind of a bit kooky. Even Deku. The professionalism is non-existent. They're like people banging in the bushes outside of the church, which is also the apartment complex. They're like people banging outside in the bushes. Okay, serious. I am having too much fun with this. I just like chaos. I am just a person who strives for chaos and comedy. Anyway, serious. So, yeah. Toya and Deku are technically married. Like, not anything official, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Anyway, yep. So then, they would get their forms, get the same scores they got in the original exam, get into class. Give me a moment. They would get into class 1A, and, everything would go pretty much to canon. So then, okay. Everything would go pretty much to canon, except, Ida gets one full. Well, not everything. I will revisit this, like the first meeting of everyone. I will return to this what if in a couple of days after, hopefully, I finish my magnum opus. At least, probably. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience, and I hope to see you next time. And now I shall begin the creation of my magnum opus what if. I will not stop calling it that. Goodbye.